Welcome back. Now, in the spirit of International Women's Day, or Women's Week, Women's Month, Women's Year, we've been talking to women in different fields.
Yeah.
On Monday, we had someone in education. Yesterday, we had someone in finance. And today, we're talking tech. Joining us virtually for a discussion on women and their participation in the tech industry is founder CyberSafe Foundation, Confidence Stavely.
I love her name. Hi, Confidence. Good morning.
Hi, thank you.
I must say, you have this natural beauty on fleek.
Yes, so.
Happy International Women's Day and Week.
Thank you. I wish you the same.
It is very interesting to see a woman in the tech space, and you have a foundation. Tell us about it. What inspired you to have a foundation in tech?
Okay, basically, I wanted to solve a problem, and what my foundation does is facilitate pockets of changes to make the internet safer for everyone that's resident in Nigeria. And we're currently working on an expansion in the other parts of Africa as well. So I was inspired to fill the gap around things like awareness. I'm currently also working on initiatives that address gender equity in our sector. I'm also working on different initiatives that also try to close the skills gap in cybersecurity as well. So all of these problems were, my inspiration for setting up this foundation.
Okay.
Thanks for joining us once again, Confidence. I have to ask, being a woman in a vast majority of, in a male space, when it comes to tech, how were you able to overcome certain obstacles? So there is that whole mindset that, the tech space is not very glamorous, it's not very feminine. How were you able to overcome all that?
Okay, I would say for me, it was just my love for all of the challenges that came with tech. I mean, every day you're learning something new. For me, that was feeding into, like I say, my adrenaline and my restlessness. I always want to learn. I want to be challenged. I don't want to be comfortable. And I think those were some of the things that endeared me to tech, because it's fast-paced. You have to keep moving. You could see problems being solved through your hands. I don't know. For me, that was very exciting. And so up until when I got to mid-level of my career, I didn't exactly feel like there was something off or something weird about not having so many females. But later on, I discovered that maybe some of the things that were problems would have pulled me down were the reasons I just kept going. And I think although you'll find women like me, that won't necessarily recognize the problems until much later, I believe that we could get more intentional about getting more women in and helping them see that it's possible to actually have a thriving and very growing career in STEM as a whole. I think that's where the place of things like role models, the place of mentorship, the place of even being able to visualize other women in those roles comes into play. I mean, since I started growing and became, top in my field, I noticed that a lot of women reach out and say, "Oh, I admire you. Now I'm inspired to be in cybersecurity." I get this quite a lot. I get personal messages that people have made decisions because they could see me taking up those roles. So that is where the place of mentorship, the workplace of communities of women doing amazing things in tech actually comes in. We need to see more women taking up these opportunities and serve as inspiration for other women to come in.
Okay, now talking about women being aware of tech and women going into tech. Now, as someone who has a foundation, now there are ladies out there watching now, and they've developed interest. Now, how do you advise them to take steps? Where do you advise them to start from? So women that are in other fields, but as time has progressed, they've seen themselves piquing interest. So now, at this point in their lives and their careers, how do you advise them to transition to STEM?
Okay, first I'll say analyze where you are currently, because people are at different levels. So for example, someone could already have gotten to a particular level of, let's say, digital literacy, or they've gone past digital literacy, basic digital literacy, and they have certain skills that can be, merged with some other skills in tech to make a transition. So find out where you are at the moment. Then the second step would be find out like a connection between where you are and where you desire to be. You need to be able to know what that journey looks like. And you can know that from, for example, looking at job opportunities that are available for for roles that you like, and see what's required to get to that place. You can also do that using, say, reaching out to people, leveraging LinkedIn, reaching out to people to find out how you can, find that trajectory, because it's finding that path. So a lot of men do not know how to move from point A to point B. And there are also lots of opportunities right now, thanks to all of what has been happening around women and women in tech and all of the campaigns that have been happening. There are a lot of programs available now to help women transition. I mean, recently I spoke at an event by Microsoft that literally was trying to bring millions of women into tech, and this was across 6 different countries. So I spoke to women across these 6 different countries, and those programs are existing to help women and hold them into tech. So if you want to move into tech, you're talking about it and you're thinking about it at the best possible time. Google programs that can help you. Just use Google and check for programs that can help you. Reach out to people, women, of course, on LinkedIn, or even men. But the truth is, women have become more open. I am available to, answer your questions. I'm on LinkedIn as well. Find out from people how to connect where you are, because the skills you currently have in your role or where you are or where you are at the moment are also relevant when combined with tech. So it's finding that, doing like a skills gap or a gap assessment of yourself from where you are to where you want to be, or finding where you want to be, usually is just the point that moves the needle.
All right, Confidence. So I have a question for you. I want to sort of compare a career in STEM or in tech with other careers out there. In terms of women who have families, do you think it's relatively easier to have a career in tech or STEM than, let's say, going into medicine or some other area?
Truth is, it's not relatively easier, but like I said earlier, the tools have recently become way more and more available to you. I mean, currently you can be self-taught even in programming. You have YouTube to learn from. So it's becoming easier to gain the skills required. And once you can prove yourself to be skilled, you can easily access a role of your choice. So it's important that we concentrate on gaining those skills, and those skills have increasingly become available. You don't need to try to get into university now, for example, to get into tech. All you need to do is get some sort of certification, get some learning, teach yourself a skill, show that you can do that thing, maybe by taking on a project of your own, because that's what I tell people. The easiest way you can show competence is to show something you have done. So challenge yourself into picking up those skills by yourself, if possible. And if you don't have that opportunity, challenge yourself to find somebody who can guide you, or challenge yourself to also, find a way to pay for learnings or academies you can learn from, and then gain those skills and prove that you have those skills by taking on the personal project. And then put word out there. We are not so good at selling ourselves as women. We need to get better. Tell the world what you can do, and the world will actually take you for that. That's the truth. So yeah, it's become increasingly easier to get into tech if you can take the steps I have just shared.
All right, then. Thank you so much, Confidence, for talking to us this morning. And
I want to go to STEM.
Yeah, and she's as confident as her name. Like, look at the passion she's using to talk about her field. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Happy International Women's Day.
So
Have
much.
a fantastic week.